In this video, we are going to be looking at the potential of Bitcoin creating a double top to end this cycle. And what I mean by that is the potential of a top sometime in the next few weeks, followed by a crash or a correction, followed by a higher high to complete the bull run at the end of the cycle. What's up guys, Dirk here from intelligentcryptocurrency.com. If you are new to the channel, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell so you do get updates whenever I upload a new video. It's completely free. And if you want to get on my email list so I can send you an email every time I upload a video to make sure you catch that every time, click on the first link in the description below. Sign up for my free crypto masterclass. You'll get on my email list, and that way I can just send you an email every time I upload a new video. All right, so today it is Saturday. It is April 17th, 2021, and we are closing in on 12 months past the previous halving. Now, we're not quite there yet. We still have a couple weeks to go, but every day that we're closing in on that brings us closer towards a potential cycle top. Now, whether that's completely the end of the bull run or whether it's just a sort of local top, that is what we're going to explore in this video, because there are two possibilities. The 2013 cycle lasted for 12 months, halving to peak of the cycle, meaning that if we repeat the 2013 cycle, we could potentially be looking at the end of a cycle within the next couple weeks. But personally, I don't think that's the case based on everything that's happening in the space, how much bigger it is, how much more adoption and participants there are in this cycle compared to 2013, right? So the 2017 cycle was 18 months, which if that completes, then we'd be looking at some sort of top for the cycle towards November or December, the end of the year, which makes sense if the 4-year cycle is in play, because the peak of the 2013 cycle was in November 2013. The peak of the 2017 cycle was in December 2017. So maybe we're looking at November, December of this year, maybe even January of 2022, if that 4-year cycle repeats. Now, the whole question is, of course, going to be, how high does it go? Because if it is going to run until the end of the year, then selling now, if it's going to go many times higher, obviously would be not fun, because you'd miss out on a lot of potential upside. But at the same time, if you're expecting it to run to the end of the year and you don't sell when you're up significantly and it crashes and the cycle actually did end up peaking in the next couple weeks, then obviously you're going to regret it, because you're going to write it down 50, 60, 70, 80%, right? So that is where it becomes tricky. Now, what I think is a possibility is that we see some sort of repeat of the 2013 cycle, which we're going to look at in a second, because what happened then is we also had some sort of local top earlier in the year, followed by a big correction, followed by an even higher high to end the cycle at the end of the year. Now, I find it hard to believe that the way that things are going right now, that we're just going to continue running straight up until the end of the year. I think we're just really approaching some sort of mania euphoria phase, and the reason for that is just simply everything is going nuts. I mean, Dogecoin, a coin that was literally created as a joke, has gone up, I think at this point, almost 200x or more in the last 6 months or so. It's all over mainstream news. It's on CNBC. It's on mainstream media. Like everywhere, everyone is talking about Doge. This is a coin that was literally created as a joke. It's not supposed to have any value whatsoever. It doesn't have a cap on the supply. Elon Musk has been tweeting about it for more than a year, saying it's going to take over. There's a strong community behind it, but this is the level that we're getting at. Now, the fact that Dogecoin pumped is actually good for the whole of crypto, because usually when Dogecoin pumps, the rest of the altcoins tend to follow and have a huge pump. And that is kind of lining up with everything that I'm leaning towards, and what my theory is towards how things are going to go, is that we're going to get a massive pump the next couple of weeks, which could be some sort of blow-off phase into a local top. Now, whether that's going to be the end of the cycle or not, we can look at some options later on in this video, but that is a possibility, and I would start getting very cautious if that does indeed play out. If over the next 2 to 4 weeks we go up hundreds of percent on all sorts of altcoins and things go really crazy, don't get caught into thinking that that's just going to continue until the end of the year. Manage your risk, remove your initial, take profits, because nothing goes up forever, and once the party is over, this thing can crash hard. Crypto can crash 50% in a matter of weeks. Okay, even less than that. In less than a month, it can drop by 50%. So when you're up, crazy amount of gains, you know, don't waste that. There's a lot of people who will think it'll go up forever. They ride it all the way up. They're super happy with their paper profits on their portfolio. But until you realize that money and you cash it out into a stable coin or a fiat currency, it's still paper profits and it can evaporate, in a matter of days. So be very, very careful with that. What we're also seeing is, if we're looking at CoinGecko here, $2.35 trillion as a total market cap. That is insane. We're at all-time highs. Sure, it can go to 3, 4, 5 trillion, and that can happen pretty quickly if the whole market pumps. But we're coming a long way since 2017. And what we can see is the older coins are pumping. The 2017 coins that everybody thought was dead, they're all starting to pump. We've seen Dogecoin, we've seen Ripple start to move higher. We've seen Sia coin here, right? Super old coin, 85% in a day. Nano, 64% in a day. Verge is even up 44%. VeChain is up 36%. Bitcoin Cash is up 30%. Okay, so this is a phase in the cycle, in my opinion, where we are starting to get towards a blow-off top of some sort. Okay, this is not normal, guys. This is amazing. If you're in it and you're making profits, that's absolutely phenomenal. 50 to 100% a day on a coin is incredible if you're in those coins and you're making those profits. But this is not normal, guys, and this is not sustainable. So if this continues for another 2, 3, 4 weeks, which it absolutely can if we repeat 2017, 2018 style for the blow-off top, again, like I said earlier, you might want to consider locking in profits and getting out of the market. Now, before I move on to some charts, I just want to say also, at this point in the cycle, fundamentals don't seem to matter anymore. Coins are pumping, not because they're a great project, not because they have adoption, not because they have a working product or a team, or whatever the case is, or the future of finance or whatever. It's just purely money flowing into the cryptocurrencies. There's thrill, there's euphoria, there's new money, new participants, and everything is pumping. Don't mistake any of these coins that are going up 50 to 100% for being something that's going to change the world. Don't get married to the token. Don't get attached to it. No matter how much you think the project is amazing or the coin is great, treat them as vehicles for profit. If it goes up in an insane amount, say thank you very much and get out. Don't make the mistake of holding onto coins because you think they're pumping now and they're just going to continue to pump and they're going to be great. In the last cycle, most altcoins lost more than 90% of their value. I think after this bull run is done, the same is going to happen. And I think the majority of altcoins might even completely disappear or fail or stop trading as regulation comes in and as the landscape changes. So be very, very careful which coins you plan on holding past the bull run, if any at all. Okay, so before we hop over into the Bitcoin chart, just a few reminders of where we are in the cycle. In these blow-off phases, it is impossible to predict tops. Prices tend to go a lot higher than we think, right? But at the same time, it's all about watching when this larger cycle is going to stop. When the bull run as a whole is done, I think pretty much everything is going to crash in tandem. So it's not about, Bitcoin Cash or XRP or Dogecoin or whatever. They're all taking turns pumping, like I said, because there's new money flowing into the space. But once the whole cycle is done, everything is going to drop together pretty much. That's what I see happening. It happened last time. I don't see it playing out any other way. So again, since the previous halving, we've had 3 halvings. This the red is the previous 2017 cycle. This is 2013 cycle. The white one is where we are right now. So 112x, 539x. We are at 20x, and you can see time-wise and peak-wise, we still have a bit of time to go. But that could end up completing in the next couple weeks. It could also take to the end of the year. So my personal opinion at this point in time is that I think there's a maximum left until the end of the year for this bull run, but it could also be as little as a few weeks. Now, let's move over to a few other charts over here, like this one, again, showing the Bitcoin cycle bottom. Previous 2 cycles, same deal as last time, 2017, 2013, and now. And you can see, in terms of time, from the cycle bottom index, we've passed the 2013 one. We're still quite a way away from the 2017 one. So there is still potential for, up to another maybe 6 months in time and price. But again, that's not guaranteed, because if it was, well, then it would be easy. You just hold and you buy as much as you can and you wait until it peaks. But nobody really knows how this cycle is going to play out. We're just looking at these previous cycles for guidance. Now, again, same thing here. These are all by @chartsbtc on Twitter, by the way. I recommend you follow that account. It's really, really good stuff. So you can see the previous cycles over here. Breaks the all-time high, right? The old high. 291 days, 297 days. We're currently at 126 days. So based on that, purely on time, we are only about halfway of the journey up. But you can see even in this journey, and this is what we're going to look at right now, in the 2017 cycle, it went pretty much straight up with a few minor dips on the way up. But the 2013 cycle, we had a big pump, a really big dump, and this is the possible scenario I want to cover. We'll do that in a second after I'm done showing you this chart. But if we get something like this, in the short term, it can be very unpleasant, because this was actually, I think, about a 60% pullback. So that means you would possibly take a 60 or 70% haircut on your entire portfolio for 3 to 6 months, and then maybe we'll watch it run to a complete new top. So you have to be aware of that. Not saying that's going to happen, right? We could also get a repeat of the 2017 cycle, which was more of a straight up with more 20, 30, 35, 40% dips on the way up, but not as crazy as that. So again, we don't know what's going to happen, but it's best to be prepared for the worst case scenario, which in my opinion is, a 60 or 70% drop in the short term over the next few months. That would be very unpleasant. But again, you have to manage your risk and understand how this all works, and that's why I'm showing you this based on also the stock to flow model. We still have time to go. You can see if this cycle repeats, and so far it's repeating perfectly. So there's no guarantee, obviously, but because it has been repeating up to this point so perfectly, I think there's a decent chance we can say, okay, it's going to continue, right? Which means that we still have this blow off. You can see these last dots are the highest, the blow off to come in Bitcoin and in crypto and in altcoins. And that could still take, several months. But again, we have to ask ourselves, is that going to be a double top scenario like 2013 or 2017, where it just continues to go up with more regular 30% dips on the way up? So Bitcoin chart on the monthly, and you can see we've had an insane run since October last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candle closes. We are working on potentially a 7th, but we still have 2 weeks left, so it's a little bit hard to tell. We can't say it's going to close here, but if it does, which I actually expect it to, if we get another green close, we've had 7 monthly green candle closes. We've never had that in the history of crypto or the history of Bitcoin, and it's just pretty nuts. So I mean, yes, fundamentally it is different, so it's so hard to say. This time institutions are on board, right? Companies are buying it, funds are buying it, there's ETFs on the way. Maybe this just continues getting a lot bigger if we're going towards hundreds of millions of people all buying Bitcoin, and there's a rush to get into a very narrow door, and there's only a limited amount of supply available. Maybe this just keeps going. Maybe it just keeps going to 100K or more without a significant pullback. It is completely a possibility, but at the same time, again, we want to remain kind of cautious, and we have to see, so every single month on this channel, on the first of the month, I do an update after the monthly candle closes to try and see if that gives us any kind of forward movement or forward insight to what the next month is going to bring. And so far, I still don't think we've had the blow off top, but who knows, if we shoot up to 80K and we drop back to 60K by the end of the month, maybe that might be some sort of blow off. So we'll have to take it a week at a time or even a day at a time, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so I can give you these updates regularly. But let's go have a look at the 2013 cycle in a little bit more detail. So we can zoom in over here. Okay, so 2013 cycle, I changed the chart to weekly, but you can see this is what I'm talking about. And even though on the chart it looks like a little insignificant move over here, you can see when we went from here, right? We went from 13 to 245. So we basically did an 18x on Bitcoin. That was a huge run in a matter of, say, 4 months. And I guess you can take it from October. So it's very similar in timing wise. We started our run for Bitcoin, like I just showed you on the monthly. We started in about October and we had a big run. So let me put this here on October. You can see over here. So, okay, let's just say October to exactly where we are, the middle of April. We had here 23x on Bitcoin, right? So 2,345%. Then we had a big pullback and basically sideways trading before the huge run up. Now this was already a big run up. This was all-time highs at the time. We had no idea what was going to happen. But then look at the pullback that we got after that, right? So we had a pullback here of 75% on Bitcoin. We went sideways for 203 days in that range before finally moving higher. And you can see we started moving higher again towards October, the end of the year, before it went from October to the all-time high in December. So in a matter of 2 months, it went absolutely nuts. But again, 75% drawdown and a 200 days. So that's more than a 6-month period of sideways trading and ranging. Now, I'm not saying we are going to get that, but what if we do get a repeat of that scenario, meaning that at some points, potentially in the next few weeks, we get some sort of top, we drop 50 to 70%, we trade sideways for 3 to 6 months, and everyone thinks, oh, it's over, the bull run is over, and then towards October or November of this year, we see a pump and it goes to 300K, right, in a matter of 2 months. It is a possibility. Now, if we look at the 2017 cycle, that was very different because you can see we ran up from, let's say, October 2016, and then it just continued going all the way up. And sure, there were 30-40% corrections, like all these ones that you see there, but it wasn't the same scenario as 2013. So you can see here when we went to April, let's just see what kind of a run we had. So from October, we went to April, somewhere around there. We only did 100% gain, so you can see it's pretty different. When we were in April in 2017, Bitcoin hadn't had a crazy pump just yet, right? Versus 2013, where it already went up 23x. Now, we're in a situation where from October last year until now, we've already run up about 6x. Who knows, right? Again, we're just looking at previous cycles, previous data, and we try and make guesses. Ultimately, no one knows, because if I did know, I would tell you and I'd say, hey, this is going to top then, or it's going to continue running. Nobody knows, right? So you can make guesses. But what I will say is that risk management is important, and if you expect a worst case scenario, meaning that we might get a crazy blow off and we get some sort of top, and if you manage your risk, you remove your initial, you take profits. If it continues going higher, well, you don't have as much in as you would like to have. But if it does drop 50-60%, you'll be glad you managed that risk, and you'll be able to add in and potentially have that run up later in the year. So again, I don't know, guys, not financial advice, but I'm just giving you this information so that you can make a decision. And if the markets go absolutely nuts in the next couple of weeks, I think it is more and more likely that this local top scenario, the 2013 cycle, where we top in May and we have several months of crash correction sideways before moving higher at the end of the year. If we go crazy in the next couple weeks, I think that is more likely. So you have to weigh your options. And let me know in the comments, what do you think? When do you think this is going to end? When is the bull run going to end? Do you think we're going to get the scenario of a top in May and a crash? Do you think it's just going to keep running on like we saw in 2017? Just leave a comment below, let me know, and let's try and figure this out together. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button, click the bell. It's completely free. Get on my email list if you do want to get alerts and updates. It's the first link in the description below. You sign up to my free crypto masterclass, you get on my email list, and I'll send you an email every time we upload a new video. Additionally to that, guys, if you do want help and you need navigation of this crypto bull run, you want these kind of updates more regularly, you want to be part of a community to help and support, you want my personal guidance and access to me, then you can join me inside my Intelligent Cryptocurrency membership. I've got courses, got tutorials, I write a monthly newsletter, and we have a private Discord chat group with over 600 members from all around the world. We're in there every single day. I'm in there personally, answering questions, sharing insights, and we're all just trying to figure out how to make as much money from this crypto market as possible, how to exit with our profits before the next crash, which projects to look at, what's happening, all that kind of stuff. So if you want that support, if you want that guidance, that community, again, sign up for the crypto masterclass. You'll get the free presentation, you'll get the details at the end of that presentation, and you'll be able to join us inside Intelligent Cryptocurrency. So thanks for watching, subscribe, make sure you leave a comment, get on the email list, and I'll see you in the next video.